Oh, I guess we're live. Okay. So this is the first edition of what I'm gonna call Quiet Storm Sports with Sutton Def. I am your host, Sutton Def of the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Just a little bit something new that we're just kind of giving a test run, a little pilot, little morning show, right? Where I get on here and I talk about pretty much whatever. But mainly Ravens. That's what our channel is based off of, Ravens, NFL football. So I guess I can start with that, right? So last night we have the Bears beating the Vikings 12-10 in a little bit of a shit show. Four turnovers by Josh Dobbs. I think six turnovers in total. Six turnovers in total. And then it's just I don't know what it is with primetime games, to be honest with you. By the way, let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Drop it in the chat in the comment section. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I see y'all in the chat. J Prime, what's going on? Thea Pennell, Kareem, good morning. Good morning. Whenever you may be listening to this, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining Quiet Storm Sports with Sutton Def. Thank you, Kareem. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is with primetime games this season. It's been super weird. Like they're all lackluster. They lack what's the word I'm looking for? They're very uncompelling. Even the games, the primetime games that we've had, right? The Ravens. So like on Sunday night against the Chargers. I mean, 13-10 for a good chunk of the game. That's no good, right? It's no good in my book. By the way, I am driving into work. That's like a thing that since I have a long commute, I figure why not just get on here, talk to you guys for a little bit. Yeah, but yeah, all of them have been really bad. I don't know what's been going on. I don't know if it's just eh, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about the primetime games, and if you have any reasoning why, any theories why you think that these games have been so bad. Because to me, yeah, they need to do better. They need to do better. But like I said, the games that we've had, the one against the Chargers, that one was kind of lackluster. Even the one against the Bengals, Burrow goes down. Lamar was hurt for a hot second in that one. Not a whole lot of scoring. I mean, I know we did score 30, but it's not like it was anything explosive or anything like that. So, yeah, I mean, the primetime games could definitely do without him this year. That's for sure. That's for sure. Now, getting to a little bit about more of the game. I watched that game last night, pretty much the whole entire thing. And the Bears, they have some potential with Justin Fields, but I think that what they're probably going to do, since the Panthers are going to get the number one pick and the Bears get that pick from them, I think they're going to draft Caleb Williams. Okay, I think they're going to go ahead and get Caleb Williams, and they're going to trade Justin Fields for another pick. Not to mention they have their own top 10 pick after this year. So I think they're really going to go after Williams in the draft, try to get their franchise guy. Of course, he's going to be the highest rated quarterback coming out of the draft in some years now. I think that's the speculation, but I think that the Bears go after him and they try to rebuild through the draft. And they might be a good team within the next 3 or 4 years. But we'll see. Now the Vikings in a little bit of a different spot. Um, I'm thinking they'll draft a quarterback. In this upcoming draft. Kirk Cousins obviously not their long term guy, not their long term answer. We all kind of knew that. We've been known that. But they just been kind of buffering by with him. And Justin Jefferson has supplemented that as well. Now, Josh Dobbs, the magic for Josh Dobbs has got to stop, right? Like it's got to be over, guys. It's been too long. It's been a couple weeks now. He bounced around from the Cardinals to the Vikings. I think he might have started out on the Browns, or that might have been last year. I can't remember. But not started out. Well, he started out with the Steelers. I know that, but I think he played for the Browns as well. Could be wrong about that, but Josh Dobbs, 4 interceptions, didn't complete a pass in the first quarter. It just wasn't good. And I know I saw a tweet this morning saying that the Vikings going into their bye weeks, I think week 13 is their bye, just like the Ravens, they're going to be evaluating their situation at quarterback. But, it's kind of late in the season for that, of course. So I do think that they will end up drafting one. Not really sure what kind of pick they'll get, probably like a mid-round pick, something like that, or closer to top 10. And there'll be some guys there. There'll be some guys there, but they're going to have to take a chance, I know a lot of people are saying there's a lot of good quarterbacks in this upcoming draft. To me, I see Caleb Williams and I see Michael Penix Jr. I see those two guys as kind of like my locks for being solid NFL quarterbacks. You know, Now I don't watch as much college football as maybe some of the rest of you guys, so I know that guys like Drake May are out there. Bo Nix is still out there as well. A couple other guys too, but Caleb Williams and Michael Penix Jr. What I've seen from them from watching a couple of their games individually is that those guys are special talents, special talents. Let me see. Kareem says here, Josh Dobbs is decent, but for some people that want him over Kirk is insane. Yeah, I mean, but it's just the magic thing, right, Kareem? It's the whole magic thing. Like they don't. You can be like winning cures a lot of stuff, right? It covers up a lot of ugly stuff. Winning does. So when Josh Dobbs is going out there and he's rushing for a touchdown and willing his team to victory, it's all fine and dandy, and it's magic. He just came over from this other team less than 4 days ago. He doesn't even know his teammates' names, and he's winning games. That's magic. We every now and then we get some magic from a quarterback that we did not expect to get magic from. In recent years, it's been multiple guys. I mean, this year it is Josh Dobbs. There's also a little bit of Tommy DeVito in there as well. That's kind of coming on a little bit. In past years, we've had guys like Ryan Fitzpatrick. We've had guys like Gardner Minshew. Remember the whole Minshew mania thing? Geno Smith last year. Yeah, last year. Geno Smith. There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys that have kind of caught that magic, just like sometime in the season, just came out of nowhere, started balling out, and then they fall off. And that's what's happening to Josh Dobbs. Okay. Gonna go ahead and switch gears, talk about some Ravens talk here. So, me and Alex just went live yesterday on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, which is what you're listening to this on. If you did not catch that episode 211 of the Purple Rain Podcast, make sure you go ahead and check that one out. That was a pretty good episode last night. But just kind of reiterating some of the things that, I observed from that Chargers game. Let me say this. The absence of Mark Andrews definitely does hurt, but I like what we're getting out of Isaiah Likely. I love what we're getting out of Isaiah Likely. If we can continue to go to him and build his confidence, he can be a real weapon for us. A real weapon. Just the way that teams are playing us, of course, we see a fair amount of zone coverage as well. Teams wanting to keep Lamar Jackson in that running game in front of them, especially considering we don't have like a bona fide deep threat right now. Some people might call Zay Flowers that. Some people might call maybe a Nelson Aguilar, but not really a solid deep threat on our team. So, a lot of zone coverage, things like that. And I think that what Isaiah Likely has to offer when he catches the ball in space, he's not like Mark Andrews in the sense that he's going to catch the ball like a traditional tight end. He's going to rumble through a couple bodies for an extra 6 or 7 yards potentially. No, Isaiah Likely, he's a wide receiver trapped in a tight end's body. That's what Isaiah Likely is. When he catches the ball, just kind of like the wiggle that he has, and I've talked about this on the show before, just the wiggle that he has, and how he's able to catch the ball, turn upfield, make the first guy miss, and he's got some sneaky speed to him as well. His acceleration is very, very sneaky. Kind of reminds me of Hayden Hurst back when he used to play with us. You guys remember that Bills game where he damn near ran out of the stadium when he was running so damn fast. But yeah, Isaiah Likely has some of that, and I really think that Todd Monken should emphasize going to Isaiah Likely a little bit more, like implement him more in the game plan, because we have to build his confidence if he's going to even have a chance to replace the production that we lost with Mark Andrews going down with that fibula. So let me see. Kareem says, I wish we used Likely more when we had Mark. It would have been like a 1-2 punch. Yeah, I mean, I agree, man. I thought that that would be the case. And, in week one, he didn't really have a great game. I think he had like one catch for 4 yards, and that one catch was lackluster at that. It seemed like very minimal effort. And then ever since then, he just really wasn't featured, wasn't showcased in this offense much at all. I know he had that drop in the Colts game that was, huge. It could have really helped us out in winning that one. But that's the guy who he's very talented. And we've seen him show flashes before. I've talked about it on the show. You guys go back to last year in his rookie season when we played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on primetime. Lamar had a great game, but in large part due to what Isaiah Likely was able to contribute on the pass catching end. So Isaiah Likely, he's got to get more involved. Todd Monken, that's got to be his one of his top priorities, I would say, in order to get this offense going. Because listen, guys, the offense is nowhere near where it needs to be, and all season long, it's felt like the offense takes 2 steps forward and 1 step back, 2 steps forward and 1 step back, and it's been no different in recent weeks even. We were scoring 30, and then we lose Mark Andrews. You know what I mean? We beat the Bengals, and then we drop 30 on the Bengals, and then the next week we come out and pretty much drop 13 points on the Chargers. I know we scored 20. There was a late touchdown, but a lot of missed opportunities. The vast majority of that game, the offense was not producing, and we just really have not hit our stride yet. Not hit our stride at all, and it's been kind of frustrating to see, because the potential that this Ravens offense has, but things just haven't been. And you know what a big problem is? A big issue is Lamar Jackson has been under a good amount of pressure this season, I would say. The offensive line this year it's been up and down. I can honestly say a little bit shaky. All of our losses were, our tackles getting obliterated and Lamar Jackson under constant duress. And that was something that was happening in that Chargers game too. And I think a big reason why the Ravens almost lost that game. It's a big reason why the Ravens almost lost that game, because Lamar Jackson was under constant pressure and he couldn't really get his feet under him and make those throws. Even the throws that he was making earlier in the game, like the quick slants to Odell, things like that, that stuff started closing up. He had less time. His clock was sped up, his QB clock. That can't happen. I saw somebody on Twitter say that we got to have an honest conversation about Ronnie Stanley. I want to get you guys' opinions on Ronnie Stanley. Like, what are we thinking about Ronnie? Do we still play him? Do we sit him for a couple of weeks and see if Makari can fill that spot? Or because we know Ronnie was dealing with a I can't remember exactly what it was. Drop in the chat if you know which health issue he was dealing with. But he was dealing with something, and he was announced that he was coming back this week to play in the Chargers game. He didn't look all that great in the spots that I saw him in. So that's going to be I think a big need this upcoming offseason. Tackle. When you talk about the Ravens' top priorities going into the 2024 offseason, we're 12 weeks into the season. Well, damn near 13, right? 13 weeks into the season. We can kind of tell now. We can tell now what the Ravens will need in this upcoming draft. We already know. Tackle, corner, and I want to say edge rusher, right? I want to say edge rusher. I think that third spot is a little bit up for grabs. Let me know what you think the Ravens' top priority should be in this upcoming draft. I know it's got to be corner, it's got to be tackle, and maybe guard as well. Maybe guard, linebacker. I don't know what our plans are for Patrick Queen. I don't know if Trenton Simpson will be his true successor should the Ravens let Queen walk, which I hope they do not, obviously. But yeah, I think that those are certainly the top three priorities. There's a little bit of wiggle room for that third spot, of course, like I said, but those top two, especially cornerback and tackle, definitely going to need to shore up the roster in those areas this upcoming draft. Let me see what 100 million for Glass and a bag of chips. Yeah, man, definitely not getting the return on investment that we thought we might get from Ronnie Stanley. But he's got to be better. Morgan Moses was getting beat a lot by Khalil Mack on Sunday night. He's got to do better. It's we got to protect Lamar. We've got to protect Lamar Jackson if we want any shot at all at making a deep playoff run and potentially even making the Super Bowl, because the window is there. A lot of people don't realize it, but like the window is wide open for the Ravens to get to a Super Bowl right now. You look at a team like the Bengals, who aren't going to be in contention this year because no Joe Burrow. Look at a team like the Chargers, who are what, 4-6 or something like that, or 4-7. I think we just made them. Uh, you know what I mean? Like, it's the Bills are 6-6. They're in 10th place in the AFC right now. The Dolphins are up and down. They don't look like they can beat good teams. We're going to get our litmus test against them later on this season. So, I mean, really, you're looking at the Chiefs. You're looking at the Jaguars as well, of course. The Chiefs and Jags. And again, we're going to get the Jags, too, before the end of the season. So, I definitely have some concern about the Jacksonville Jaguars, for sure. But I think that we can beat the Jags. Chiefs, a little bit of a different story, because you know what they have to offer with Patrick Mahomes. It's not over until it's over. You have to match him tit for tat, score for score. And it looks like he's about to start turning up with that receiving core he has. And it's been kind of a struggle for them all season, but Rashee Rice is coming around and breaking out as, one of their top receivers, one of their top guys. And of course, they've got Travis Kelce still. Pacheco's really good when he's on. So, and then the Chiefs defense is better than it's ever been in Mahomes' career. So there's that. There's the Chiefs. We're kind of waiting on that. We haven't played the Chiefs in a little while, but it's looking like it might happen this year in the playoffs. So definitely concerned about those two teams, Chiefs and Jags. But other than that, outside of that, not really a whole lot of stiff competition as it stands right now. And of course, it's any given Sunday or Saturday or whenever you're playing your playoff games. But I think that the Ravens have a shot. There is a window to win a Super Bowl this year. There is. There just is. I'll leave it at that. Let's see. This next stretch is going to show if we're contenders or pretenders. Yeah, man. Yeah. Because like I said, Dolphins, Jaguars. We've got the Steelers again. We got the 49ers on Christmas. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. But I think that the Ravens will probably come out of this next, 5-game stretch. I say maybe like a 3-2. Maybe like a 3-2. I think we'll probably drop the game. I think we're going to drop the game against the Jaguars. I think we lose that game, to be honest with you. I think the Dolphins game is close, but we pull that one out. I think the 49ers game is close, but we drop that one too. That 49ers one hurts. I don't want to lose on Christmas. Not like the last time the Ravens played on Christmas. That just hurts to say, even to just predict that. I'd be curious to know if I predicted the same thing before the season started. I got to go back and check. Probably, but yeah. I saw Kareem said, "What is happening with Tyus Bowser?" Yeah, man. With Tyus Bowser, at this point, I've kind of like throwing my arms up with it for the season. It's just I'm over it. We've heard virtually nothing from him, and that's annoying in and itself. John Harbaugh always keeps the cards close to his vest. You guys know that. And it sounds like there's been maybe some sort of a rift between the coaching staff and Tyus. Not exactly sure, but we've heard Harbaugh kind of come out and say, like, basically throw his hands up at the situation and say, hey, look, you know it's on him, basically saying like it's on him whenever he's ready to come back, that sort of thing. So I don't know what's necessarily going on there, but Tyus Bowser, he was a big piece in our defense last season, especially with closing football games. There were multiple games where he made the final or damning play, the sack, the fumble, or whatever. Tyus Bowser is that dude, and I wish that he was playing with this defense right now. I think it would just make them even better. But he's not here, and we look to our other linebackers who are playing surprisingly well. I mean, I like what I've been seeing from Jadeveon Clowney. Of course, Clowney has been having one of the best seasons of his career. I think his career has definitely been rejuvenated rather with the Ravens, and that's why I love this team, man. And that's why, you know, whenever we bring in free agents on the defense, and it's like a name that was good but kind of fell off, they always show up to Baltimore and they give us something. They might not always give us like a season like Clowney's having, right, or a season like Kyle Van Noy is having, but they always give us something. And I think that just speaks to kind of the expectation that comes from the lineage of just long history of just good defenses on this team. There's a long history of that, and I think that it kind of carries over when you, as a free agent, come and you play defense on the Ravens. You got to bring your A game, and they know that. Roquan Smith was one as well, of course. Marcus Peters, guys like that. Yannick Ngakoue had a couple good, Ngakoue was pretty good for us when he was here. So, yeah, man, Jadeveon Clowney's been really good. Kyle Van Noy has been really good. I know you guys remember that pass batting that he had on Justin Herbert in that Sunday night game, man. That in space just climbs the ladder and goes and tips that football with his hands, gets his mitts on it, and forces the incomplete pass. That was incredible. You don't expect plays like that out of guys you just got a couple of weeks ago. You just don't. So shout out to Kyle Van Noy, man. He's been balling out of control for us. Jadeveon Clowney has been balling out of control for us. Want to give a big shout out to Justin Madubuike as well. Y'all know Madubuike, man. He is double-digit sacks this season. He is trying to price himself out of Baltimore. He's trying his absolute hardest. But the hope is that Eric DeCosta does not let him, and we bring him back because, man, I'm telling you, this defense has benefited greatly from Justin Madubuike's interior pressure. He's really an unsung hero on that defense. Everybody, talks about Roquan Smith, Marlon Humphrey, Jadeveon Clowney now. But Justin Madubuike is a guy who doesn't get the national media coverage that he deserves. He deserves a lot more, and I think that he's definitely a huge impact on that defense, more than people give him credit for. Interior pressure, man. Interior pressure. It sucks for quarterbacks. Interior pressure sucks for quarterbacks, man. It's one thing when you feel pressure coming from the outside, because what can you do? You can step up in the pocket and you can still make a throw from your base, right? But when you get pressure from the inside, two things happen. One, your eyes come down. So they stop looking upward down the field. They come down to see what the hell is going on in front of you. And two, you got to roll out. You got to roll out the pocket. You got to get off your base. And sometimes that can cause an off-balance throw. Luckily, when you have quarterbacks who can throw well on the run across their body, like a Lamar Jackson, that you can kind of make up for some of that. But yeah, man, that interior pressure. Tom Brady said it himself that's a killer. It's a killer. So yeah, I mean, Ravens defense is looking really, really good. The offense is still trying to get itself together, trying to find its identity. Like I said, it seems like they take 2 steps forward, 1 step back, which is super annoying, but it is what it is. We'll have to see if, and let's talk about the run game for a second. Let's talk about the run game for a quick second, right? So the run game right now, I think, is interesting because we have this home run hitter in Keaton Mitchell, who we know can break off a big one pretty much at any moment. So, but the problem is teams know that. And teams know that when Keaton Mitchell is in the game, he's getting the football. That's just what's going to happen. He's going to get the football. He's not in to pass protect. He's not in for, he's not in for anything else other than to run the football, whether it be a handoff, a toss, whatever. He's getting the ball. So teams can kind of key in on that. We've seen that the past couple of weeks with Keaton Mitchell. So Todd Monken said that they're trying to work him into the rest of the offense in terms of like pass protection and, other things as well. So that way he can kind of get more blended into this offense, and defenses can't just key in and know that when he's in the game, he's getting the ball, and that'll open up more running lanes for him in the future. We can get back to seeing him break off those big touchdown runs because he's got it in him. But then you've got Gus Edwards as well. Gus, he's been the touchdown machine all season, just kind of punching it in from goal to goal situations, which I love. I love that about Gus Edwards, and you really can't ask for too much else, especially when you have a Keaton Mitchell that's sitting right there. Like, if you want the big playability, give it to him. But if you want, like, I remember how I related, if you guys saw the episode of the show, how I related like running backs to cars. Like Gus Edwards, like a pickup truck, right? What's he good for? He's going to pick up a couple yards on every play. It might not be a big run for, 15, 20 yards that he breaks off. He might not always be breaking off 30, 40-yard runs. Sometimes he does, but not always. Most of the time he doesn't. Most of the time it's like a nice 3-4 yard run. He falls forward, very north-south runner, which we love. We love that about Gus Edwards. He's like a pickup truck. He's going to pick up a couple yards for you. That's what he's going to do. Now, Keaton Mitchell is more of like the sports car, right? You get him out in space, out in the open field, open road, whatever you want to call it, and he can get out of there quick. And that nice little 1-2 is what we need to get worked into this offense and baked into this offense to the point where it's kind of in a rhythm, right? And teams can't really see one player or another coming. They need to work that in. And then Justice Hill, man, I don't know. I still don't know what John Harbaugh or Todd Monken was thinking, giving Justice Hill the football on 3rd and short with the game on the line. When you have Keaton Mitchell and Gus Edwards, that just didn't make sense to me. Maybe they were trying to fool the defense, and maybe since they saw Justice Hill in the game, they thought he wasn't getting the football, and then we were going to surprise him and actually give him the football and expect him to get the yards. Now, Justice Hill is not bad, but I just don't get the philosophy there of not using your best weapons in certain situations. Like, go to your best players in these tight spots. Like, that's what they're there for. That's what they're there for. That's all it really is. But listen, guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave this episode of Quiet Storm Sports with Sutton Defs. Like I said, it's going to be a morning show, probably do it a couple times a week. This is the pilot episode, so it will get better. It will get more honed. I was just kind of piloting it, like, testing it out today. But I thank you guys for joining, for listening. Make sure you guys like the video. That'd be nice, right? Subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you just enjoyed the content you just heard, and I appreciate it. And I will catch up with the Rain Gang later. Like we always say, stay positive, test negative, and don't ever forget to call God. This is your boy Sutton Def signing out. Peace.